Okay, now I'm going to talk about dragging and dropping audio files in this session. So here, first we're going to go right here. I'm going to play the pattern back for you so you can hear it directly from the beginning. That's our pattern. We can actually take this pattern out of Maschine as an audio file or a Midi file. Now, first I'm going to go right here to our drop-down menu for pattern drag mode. We're going to select audio. Once I select audio, we go right here to our drag button, which is right here. Now just click there, and you see a little box comes up saying drag and drop audio. Done, ready to drag. I pull it out, you see a little name comes out there. It says 909 kit-A1, meaning bank one. I'll pull it here to my desktop on my Macintosh. Now it's done. You see it says WAV file, right? I'll click on that, and I'm going to select an application to open up with. We're going to use QuickTime Player 7. Now, you see it comes up, I'll play it back. And that's the audio file. And I can take this file and use it anywhere. Let's do Midi. Now here, we'll go to our drop-down menu again, and we'll select Midi for pattern drag mode. Now, it's important to also to go to Sound Midi Batch Setup. You want to make sure I have sound to Midi notes selected. I'm going to use Midi channel 10. Because Midi channel 10 is where all the percussion instruments are. I'll keep my root as C3 and I'll apply. Now, I'll click here and I'll drag this out to my desktop as well. I'll move this over here a little bit. And now we see it here. It says 99 kit-A1 MID, meaning Midi. I'm going to right click inside that window, open it with QuickTime Player 7, and now I'll play it back as a Midi file. Now everything's there except that's different instruments that are playing the parts. And that's how we can drag and drop audio and Midi from Maschine. Just dumped a file, which is a Midi file. We're using a drum kit for that purpose. Now, when you're trying to dump a Midi file or transfer these Midi files and drag and drop them into another software, and you're using, let's say, a keyboard or a string line or something, you got to do it a different way. So here's how it works. I've got this keys and melody here as a group, which you see is the G group right here. It's a little better here. And now what I want to do is I want to make sure the instruments I select are set up for the Midi dump. So I'm going to clarinet here. I'm going to right click here where the name's at. I'm going to go to Sound Midi Settings. So here we're going to enable this. Once I do, we get the channel, which is channel 1, Midi channel 1. We have our low note and our high note. So any notes within this range will be set up as this Midi dump for the Midi settings. And our root note is going to be C2. Press OK. I'm going to look at this gospel organ. And we're going to enable this track as well. And the same settings you can see right there. Now next what I want to do is I want to go here to the triangle here to the left of the keys and melody for that group. I'm going to go here where it says Sound Midi Batch Setup. Now it says Restore Default. Well, we don't want to do that. We want to go to Sounds to Midi Channels. Now before, when I was dumping out the drum program, and a particular drum sound from that sequence, I used sounds to Midi notes. Then we had a Midi channel selected, and we had the root note. But in this case, we're using sounds to Midi channel. That means these sounds will go to this one Midi channel, which is Midi channel 1. I'll press Apply. Now I'll take this, and I could drag it, drop it. If I had another software like Pro Tools or Logic, I would drag it into that particular track, and I'd have a Midi file. Right now what I want to do is I want to play this back. We're going to look for an application. We're going to use QuickTime Player 7. And we'll play it back here. Now, it played back perfectly. Now, I'll play it back within the session right here also as well. Now, you see what happens here. It plays it back, but we don't get the actual tempo. The tempo here is 80. But so when we do that little bounce, little dump, and we go to the track, we've got to make sure that the software using has the proper tempo that we want to use for that MIDI dump.